Welcome to the AfterMat, your source for WWE pay-per-view recaps. I am your host, the People's Champ, Cal, and alongside me, as always, I have my tag team partner, the Glamazon, Delisha.
What's going on, guys?
So hopefully we're going to complete our stable again tonight and get Eric on. I know he's got some family stuff to do today, so I'm not sure if he'll get on, but hopefully we can get him on and complete the stable. But the Hitman, Eric, will maybe be joining us. So tonight we're actually going to be discussing Battleground, which is a SmackDown Brown pay-per-view, the one before SummerSlam, the last pay-per-view before SummerSlam, which is going to be a joint pay-per-view. I kind of enjoyed Battleground, but before we get into that, we have one special announcement to make. If you're a fan of AfterMat or a fan of wrestling in general, our great friend Janine, who's a very talented artist at Janine DeBean or at G9 Designs, created a shirt for the AfterMat team. So here it is. Check it out. This is our shirt. So you got myself as The Rock, and you got Delisha as the Glamazon, and you got Eric as the Hitman. So, like, I think she did a great job. You could, if you're a fan of wrestling or just a fan of us, just pick up this shirt and support her and support us as well. I mean, if you're just watching this and not a fan of wrestling, you'd also go to her website and check out all her other shirts. She's got like a plethora of designs, anywhere from like Sailor Moon to Marvel Universe with Black Panther. She's got Batman from the DC universe, the women villains of Batman. She's got a lot of designs for you guys to check out. So please check her out at Janine DeBean on Twitter or at G9 Designs. So I'm really loving this. I already purchased 2 of these. I'm pretty sure Delisha's gonna be buying a few, and we're gonna be wearing it to the NXT pay-per-view when we go in a few weeks.
Any thoughts on this? Janine's designs are always great. I need to always be like, you know what? It doesn't matter what she's gonna do. It's gonna be like a great design. But she always amazes me, and I'm for sure buying 2 for our fat checker Joe, and then probably later on I'll probably buy the tank top version, and then later on I'll probably buy another color.
Yeah, we're gonna have plenty for our next trip around to Philly when we go for Philly, not just for NXT, but or Royal Rumble or Raw Weekend, whatever we do. But the next time we do Wizard World or something like that, we're gonna have a lot to wear for that. All of Janine's designs will be on display. So please check her out. I would like to thank her for doing that. And on to the pay-per-view now. So we're talking about Battleground, like we said, the last SmackDown pay-per-view before SummerSlam, which is our first joint pay-per-view, I guess, since the brand split, right? Because the brand split happened after WrestleMania, I think, right? Or was it? I can't even remember because there's so much stuff going on. Maybe they already had the brand.
Yeah, it's so much.
But whatever it is, this is the first big pay-per-view since the roster shakeup, I should say, since WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think it was a superstar shakeup that was. I think we have.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Since the superstar shakeup is the first pay-per-view since the superstar shakeup. First combined pay-per-view with both rosters since the superstar shakeup. So the night started out with what I want to preface now, we're actually starting this broadcast later than usual because we had a hectic schedule today. So we're going to try to go through this as fast as possible. We're not going to cover it as much in depth as we usually do. I know usually we start out with our overall how we felt about the show, but we're just going to give it the grade at the end, like we normally do. But if you feel like we're going to rush through this, it's because we're actually time constrained tonight. We apologize for that, but we'll be back on track for SummerSlam when you see us next. So we're just really going to go into the results and kind of if we had any high spots for the match. So the night started out with the pre-show match with Aiden English and Ty Dillinger. I actually really enjoyed this match. Just to say something about this, I know we said just going to talk about the results, but I really like the Vaudevillain. I love their gimmick. I love their look, the old school fighting. I remember saying this before. I love them. Unfortunately, they had to break them up because I think Simon Gotch was fired or something. But I
think he left. I don't think he was fired. I think he left.
Okay, yeah. So I like Aiden English still, and I like his character when they do that. They make him like a Shakespeare, he's like a singer and all that, and he sings. He's a Shakespeare song, and they give him all these nicknames. It's so good, and I love it. And he fought Ty Dillinger in a great match, and he actually won. He was shocked to see that he won, and I was shocked to see that he won because you usually see the face go over in the pre-show matches. So that's pretty much it. Do you have anything to say about the pre-show match?
I didn't get a chance to watch it. For those I was at work tonight, guys, and last night I was on a road trip back home from Louisville, so I couldn't really watch it. I couldn't really watch live along with the rest of you guys. But I didn't. I just got all my updates from Cal or Baron as he texts me the results. But it was pretty cool to see one of the former Vaudevillains get a victory. It's pretty not lame, but like, oh man, that it was Ty who had to get the pinfall. I mean the loss, because it's like we haven't seen him much since the Royal Rumble. Now we haven't seen much of the progression for him probably since then. So it was like oh, poor Ty Dillinger, who was doing so well, and then now he's almost not here anymore. It's probably in house shows. But it's good. It's good for the I forgot his name already.
In English. Yeah, I really hope they continue his gimmick. I like it, and I want to see where it goes from there. Maybe he'll have since he's a Shakespeare song on SmackDown, maybe he'll go against Elias Sampson from Raw for who wins America's next top WWE superstar, or whatever they want to call that American Idol version show, or whatever they can do for the singing. Maybe Jeff Jarrett it.
Oh, I wouldn't put it past him to do something like that, but I really hope not.
I was surprised he could sing, and I was glad to see Ken, and that was good. So the match, the actual pay-per-view kicked off with the match. Like you know what I always say? There's always a lot of repeat matches from prior pay-per-views, which we saw here again. We saw the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos, go against the New Day. But I felt like he had a fresh take on it. I mean, there was a lot of similar one-sided, like, you know, Usos take him to the Uso penitentiary and beat him down kind of thing. But the actual, I was surprised to see, once again, 2 matches in a row, I was surprised to see the result where the actual New Day picked up the victory, which I don't know why, because the Usos kind of really need this more. And we were always talking about the New Day still over no matter what, just like the Hardys are over. They don't need a win. But for some reason, the Usos lost, and the New Day picked up the win. So maybe they're being punished for that line they threw in at SmackDown about the sex tape. So I don't know. Your thoughts on that?
I didn't even think of that. I kind of figured the New Day would win. It was kind of time. I guess this was the third match from these teams. And I was like, well, it sounds like. I mean, but the thing is with the matches, I was invested. Like every close pinfall, I was like, oh, is New Day gonna get it? Oh, it's just gonna retain. So it was like because the match to me was so great, and I was invested. I didn't actually care who won.
Yeah, and it's always good to see good tag teams go at it, because we know how they just throw people together sometimes. We're saying there's very few good tag teams still out there, so it's good to see those tag teams actually have great matches, great back and forth action, great close calls, like you said, over and over and over and over. Some really cool spots like the trust fall we saw again, but it was countered into a powerbomb on the outside. The splash followed by a super kick followed by a splash. It was great, and then the New Day picked up the win by doing a Trouble in Paradise followed by an elbow drop, and Xavier Woods got the pin. But I like seeing these tag teams go at it. It's nice that revitalized a little bit.
Yeah, the New Day were taking some hard hits. I was actually glad to see Xavier in a match longer than 3 minutes. At a wrestling time wise, because he's actually that match kind of reminded me like, wow, Xavier was really good. Now sometimes you forget that because he's the biggest mouthpiece of the New Day, and a lot of times it's usually Big E and Kofi. A lot of times in the tag team aspect, so it was kind of good to see Xavier get some prolonged ring time in a tag team match, not counting like some of the singles. And seeing both of these teams just put in great work, like that's why I was like, I wasn't really upset whether if New Day won or Usos won. I was like, they put on a great storytelling match, and now I'm like, oh, what's the Usos gonna do now? Like, are they gonna go right back after, or are they gonna slide back down the ladder? Kind of like unofficial, like ranking wise. But now I'm like, ooh, how are the Usos gonna try and get this back? So that's how I feel about how great the match is. I didn't really care who won.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to keep saying like these tag teams go back and forth because it's always a good match, but eventually we're gonna have to have a new competitor come in because we can't just keep going back and forth. But it was good. So the New Day picked it up the victory and are the new WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The next match was Shinsuke Nakamura against Baron Corbin, who's Mr. Money in the Bank currently. This was just kind of like a revenge match after Baron Corbin jumped Shinsuke Nakamura in that said Money in the Bank ladder match. So as Shinsuke came out, Baron Corbin jumped out during his entrance, and from there on, knocked him out. And then he eventually came back late in the match, but Baron Corbin still won. So I guess, and he's been attacking him throughout SmackDown throughout the weeks, I guess. I haven't really been watching. But yeah, so it was a good like match. We saw the King of Strong Style really go at it. Baron Corbin did pull off some big maneuvers, but unfortunately for Shinsuke, like he didn't get to pick up a clear victory, so I guess it's going to prolong the feud a little bit because Baron Corbin went for a low blow and got disqualified because the ref saw it. It was blatant, just to get disqualified as Shinsuke was going for the win. But after the match, Corbin did get the last laugh because he laid Shinsuke out with the end of days. So despite Shinsuke winning by disqualification, Baron Corbin did get the last laugh in, or the last word. How did you feel about that match?
Again, it was a match that I was kind of invested in. Corbin was doing like his really great strong moves, and Shinsuke was doing his quick strong style. So you have these two varying wrestling techniques going at it, and I thought they were selling each move very well. Ending, I didn't really mind the cheap win. I feel like Corbin's that type of character who's he's gonna win at all costs no matter what, and doesn't care. As you see him like laughing and smiling at the end, which I thought was a nice touch to that. And then of course, I love that they kept him brutal, as hitting him with the briefcase and giving him in the days after the match. Almost kind of like he won. I mean, technically, I guess in this match he won. I mean, he's the one who walked out instead of having to, I guess, crawl out because he got hurt. But it was a solid match.
Do you think we'll see this match again at SummerSlam, and this time maybe the Money in the Bank will be on the line?
I hope not. I could see this being resolved on a future SmackDown and having Corbin and Shinsuke move on to different opponents for SummerSlam. I don't know. I don't want to see a briefcase match on the line or whatever. I don't know. I just don't care for it.
I mean, if I don't want to see it either, but if it did happen, I'd want to see Corbin win, because I just want to have him. If they put the Money in the Briefcase on him, I want it to be like add validity to it, like just have him actually win. Because Shinsuke doesn't need it now. He's got like we always say, most people don't need this kind of like push and all that. He's got that following. He's gonna work his way up, like I said before. Just like he should just follow AJ Styles' path. Someone like Corbin, it's a cool shortcut for him. I don't think if he'll win when he cashes in or not, but if they do have that briefcase on the line, I think he should retain it just to give him validity and show that he's strong and he's worthy of holding that, briefcase.
Agreed.
The next match was the number one women's contender match for the women's SmackDown title to face Naomi at SummerSlam. So it was an elimination match, fatal 5-way elimination match that included Becky Lynch against Tamina Snuka, against Lana, against Natalya, and against Charlotte Flair. Oh man, what? All right, well, before we get into the match, I just want to say we'll go through how they were eliminated. Becky Lynch put on a few disarmers.
2 in a row, right?
Yeah, 2 in a row on Lana, but Tamina saved her. Then Tamina was put on to disarmer, and Lana wasn't able to save her. So Tamina's tap first, was eliminated. Then right away, a disarmer was put on back onto Lana, and she tapped out, eliminated. A few seconds later, Natalya rolls in, just rolls up Becky Lynch and grabs her tights. That ended her. So that was 3 successive eliminations within 10 seconds, maybe 12 seconds.
I was worried. I was very worried at this point.
And then basically Charlotte comes in, gets like a good shot in, and they reverse each other kind of things. And then Charlotte goes for the moonsault. Natalya gets the knees up and then just throws her head into the turnbuckle and pins her 1, 2, 3. I'm glad to see Natalya be the number one contender, because we've been saying this forever. Like she's been paying her dues, man. She deserves like that shot. And for her to win at SummerSlam, that would be huge. I would love to see that, because it's one of the big 4 pay-per-views. So to see her actually win, I feel like her path and her journey has been culminated with a victory at a big 4 pay-per-view and her winning the title, I mean. So I'm happy she won. I don't like how the match went. So, we can go back into that later and talk about her high and low points of the night. But, it's another case where we have all this talent again from the women, and I feel like the booking is ruining it. The creative team is ruining it, because remember how much high hopes we had for the Money in the Bank match between all the women for the first ever Money in the Bank match, and we were very disappointed. And they're like, oh, hey, we're going to get a second chance at it at SummerSlam, at SmackDown, and we didn't see anything new. Same thing basically again, same result. It was just a botched thing. with this whole women's revolution going on, like we were saying how much SmackDown had so much more talent, and what's going on, man? Like it's terrible. Like I just feel like it's not the women's fault. I don't think I think it's just how it's booked. I don't know. What do you feel about that?
Almost on the same lines. I thought the match was pretty well. It was all right. I enjoyed the last. Well, I guess it was 10 minutes more than the whole match on itself. Wait,
did you watch the whole match?
Yeah. This is well, I saw like highlights and stuff from it.
Yeah, well, but the highlight was the entire. I'm telling you, that was the entire match. The match was only like 5 to 7 minutes long.
Oh, okay, yeah, all right, but yeah, when we got to those quick elimination successions from Tamina, almost called her Naya, Tamina, Lana, and then Becky, I was like, oh no, are we gonna do like a quick? I thought that Charlotte was gonna do the same thing to Natty, and then the match would be over, and I'd have been like so upset.
But we only got like 3 more moves after that. Anyway, after that happened, like we only got like 3 or 4 more moves, so it wasn't like a lot more after that.
I was just saying that would have been. Actually, in that beginning, the whole thing I kept feeling was Lana feels out of place. Mm-hmm. She needs some more work. I'm really glad she wasn't in there that long, but yeah, it kind of actually harkens back to I want to be like, why did she get a championship match? I mean, I get the storyline wise, but I was like, she did not deserve to be a championship match. But she needs a little bit of work, and I am not a fan of the whole Tamina being the muscle, so to speak, for Lana, or at least how they presented that. Because there was really no explanation whatsoever. But they could have presented that a different way. So I'm still on Lana's side. I want to see how she does in the next couple of months, see if she can improve. But this match really showed to me that she is not ready.
Yeah, she's very raw.
She got
Pardon the term, yeah.
She's got some work to do. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I did like the last couple minutes of that match is because between Natalya and Charlotte, so I mean the talent of the ND2 alone is great, but you got a snippet, like a quick morsel of that match that they had back in NXT a couple of years ago. That was one of the best matches that those two had in a very long. I mean, that's when you could see how great these two were. So that last couple of moments, you could see what these two could do, and then I kind of wish it was just them two at this pay-per-view as a number 1 contenders match. Like that would have been could have been a great match. But overall, it was fine.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. I agree with you completely. I would have rather seen those two fight for the good 7 minutes alone. If it was just between them for the number 1 contender, maybe even throwing a Becky Lynch, because that's the match we had at WrestleMania with was it, I think, Sasha, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch was a great match in itself. So if you substitute Natalya for Sasha, it's almost the same thing. That's great to see too. So
that would have been fine, but we've had so many multiple matches in one match that I feel like one-on-one is becoming a rarity. So yeah. I would just wanted a one-on-one match. So but now we get Natty versus Naomi at SummerSlam?
Yes.
Okay, so.
And I hope Natalya wins, like I said. All right, so Natalya is your number 1 contender for the Women's SmackDown Championship. The next match was for the United States Championship, where the champion, AJ Styles, who won in shocking fashion at a house show at Madison Square Garden. It's been like all over the wrestling news. He beat Kevin Owens. So now we have the rematch again. So I think it's the 3rd or 4th time they fought each other, I guess. So another repeat match. But we had some crazy, awesome moments there where we had the 450 that was countered. I think it was countered with knee. I'm not sure. And then we also had the torture rack powerbomb that he put him through, that AJ put Owens through. We had the swipe of the leg that sent AJ crashing onto the ring apron and hurting his shoulder. Exchanging of submission holds and stuff. That was great to see. And what I loved about that is, it's so dumb. Like when the referee is knocked out because AJ went for a Styles clash, but Owens picked him up and threw AJ into the referee, knocking him out because the referees are the weakest thing in the world. That shirt that referees wear lowers their hit points by 1,000-fold. And what we see is usually, when a referee's knocked out, And all right, so when the referee's not knocked out, what we see is when someone's in the submission hold, they hold on, they're reaching for the rope, they're fighting, they're trying to counter, they're crawling to the rope and reaching. You know, when the referee's not is paying attention. But when the referee's knocked out, all we see right away is like tap 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 tap. Like, you know, like why do you do that? What's the difference? Just because the referee's not like looking, you think the person's gonna let go because you're tapping? No, like you should fight the same that you fight with the referee knocked out as if the referee's watching. I get it if the referee's watching, you have a higher chance of like if you tap, it's over. And if the referee's out, maybe the guy will be stupid enough to let you go. Maybe not. Who knows? But I like what I saw there is that they both put on submission moves and neither of them tapped, even though the referee was knocked out. They both struggled as if the referee was still paying attention to the match, reaching for the ropes, trying to counter all that. It was great to see. So they both exchanged it back and forth. Eventually, the referee came to, and with the submission lock still held in, like AJ Styles had Kevin Owens in submission. Kevin Owens rolled him over, and it was kind of a surprise ending. It was a 1-2-3 pin, and Owens won back and is now the new United States champion. But it was such a shock to see again because, like, you don't really see it on like a rollover from a submission into a pin and even AJ was shocked. So I don't know if it was like maybe it was a botch or something because AJ was shocked to see afterwards. Like maybe like because sometimes when referees count to 3, it sounds like they're counting to 4. So maybe AJ was like just timed off. I don't know what happened, but it was not. It didn't seem right, but I guess maybe that's what was supposed to happen.
I was shocked. He was just selling it really well.
Yeah. So AJ. So basically, Kevin Owens is your new United States champion after pinning him during a submission. AJ during a submission. Go ahead.
Yeah, he's back to being the face of America.
Any thoughts on the match or anything?
Oh yeah, I thought it was pretty good. Again, when you have these two in the ring, I'm just always expecting a good match because they're just really great workers. I really did like the ending because Kevin Owens likes to fight smart, and that was a smart thing to do to get the pin.
Yeah, I mean, I like seeing Owens, like I like seeing those like wily fighters. He's like he even said this to who did he say this to? I can't remember the promo.
It wasn't Renee Young.
No. It was to another wrestler. He was saying like maybe it was Cena when he first came to CC. He's like, even though you were fighting the WWE for a while, I've been fighting forever. Even though I'm just here for new to this company, I've been fighting forever. So him being a wily veteran, people don't know that he's a veteran because he's been fighting over in Canada and other places, and all that, Japan. So him being portrayed as a veteran is awesome to see. And like you said, he fights smart, and it was cool to see him win in a smart way.
Yeah. And I think we're probably going back for AJ and Kevin Owens some more. I hope not, but
yeah. Well, I wouldn't mind. Maybe they have some stipulation or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Face of America on a I don't know, internet match. I don't know.
The next match was the old school, as John Cena would say, flag match, where John Cena represented the United States and Rusev represented Bulgaria.
Doesn't John Cena represent the U.S. in any capacity?
Right, but I mean, for the flag match, that was a flag he was going to take, apparently.
I know. I was just
coming into this match. Did you have any thought that Rusev would win? Would you see any match where USA lost? Like in other words,
as when it's a USA flag on a pole match, USA is always going to win because we're so great. But especially if it involves John Cena, because he is America.
Well, the only time I ever thought about that, like something where this didn't happen that in our favor, or in America's favor, I should say, I think is when like Hulk Hogan represented America and Sergeant Slaughter and the Iron Sheik and Colonel Mustafa or whatever it was, General Adnan, Colonel Mustafa represented Iraq during the Gulf War back in the 90s. So like. And just to put Slaughter over as a heel, I think that he actually ended up winning that match. So that's kind of nuts. Now it's not the same thing where we're not really, at war with Bulgaria or anything. So I guess they can have that. But just to have America win, So basically, with the point of the match is they each had their flag in the corner in one corner. Right away when the match started, I had a gripe with it because Rusev's Bulgarian flag, was on the far corner. And I expected John Cena's to be on the other side, far corner, but it was on the near corner, closer to the ramp. So he already had an advantage. So I was upset about that. They should have put them both on the same side, so like both on the far corners, on either far corner from the ramp. But they didn't do that. Anyway, it was great power moves back and forth. Both of them eventually get their flag, walk up the ramp, but stop each other several times. Rusev sets up 2 tables connected to each other. They keep hitting more and more power moves. Finally, Rusev gets his flag. He's about to put it into the pedestal, and Super Cena comes out. He grabs you have all Rusev's weight, who's a huge guy, coming down with the flag onto the thing. Cena just grabs his arm and holds it up, and it's like, no, you're not putting your flag in there. Overpowers him. And we know Cena's a tough, strong guy. He picks him up into an AA, carries him to his own pedestal, climbs up the stairs, AAs him off the stairs through the tables, picks up the American flag, puts it in, and wins. So John Cena wins the flag match representing the United States. I mean, it was you knew that was going to happen, but you knew there would be some great power moves, but it was fun to see. I mean, it wasn't that great of a match, but from the spots that we had, it was fun to see.
Yeah, this is to me, this was almost like a throwaway match because I didn't really care about what was going on. But again, they both did pretty well, and of course, John Cena's not going to lose in it when the USA is on the line. John Cena's going to prevail. He's Superman.
Oh yes, I mean I don't really have any much to say about that match. We expected that to happen. There was some good spots, and that's about it. The next is the buffer match, like we always call it, the buffer match, where we had Sami Zayn face, we'll say Maria and Mike Kanellis. So really, Mike Kanellis is fighting, but what's been happening is on SmackDown, Maria they had this match already, and Maria interfered, and during the distraction, Mike was able to hit Sami Zayn and pick up the victory. We saw that again several times during this match, but this time Sami Zayn kicked out every time and persevered, and his resilient nature, he got through all that distractions and hit the haluva kick on Mike. And this is Mike Kanellis' pay-per-view debut match because he debuted on the last pay-per-view in a little segment. But he lost. He lost his debut in a wrestling match, despite Maria Kanellis' help. I still like their gimmick. I love conquers all, whatever, or the power of love, whatever. But it was fun to see them try, but they failed. And Sami Zayn's been in that limbo where he's just facing all these big card matches. We're not going anywhere. He's not going up or down. He's just staying in this limbo. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Any thoughts about this match?
It was fine. I didn't really care about their storyline or whatever the storyline was supposed to be. I didn't care. I do like the Kanellis. They're pretty fun. And I like Sammy enough. It's just they don't seem to know what to do with them. Poor Sammy. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say you split up these brands so they give people more chances, but within that brand you have so much talent already. Still, right? Bringing up people from NXT. So in essence, we have 3 brands, right? You got Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, and then I guess you can also say you have cruiserweights from the 205. You have so much talent, but they're in their world on their own, the 205s. But those 3 brands of NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, and you have so much talent. They keep bringing up talent. So what are you gonna do with all this other talent, kind of thing? You know what I mean? It's rough. So I mean, I know I agree with you. Sami Zayn's great, but they have nothing to do with him. Like I said, he's still in this limbo.
Yeah. So almost every week or after every week, we'll say, what do we do with Sammy now? But so I'm still asking that question right now. So, but don't
oh, what's up, Dub? Shout out to Dub in the chat.
Hey, Dub.
He says he's an ass man, so shout out to Badass Billy Gunn. What I want to say is, this is the time you're supposed to go to the bathroom during the buffer match, but I actually watched it. So after that, I went to the buffer match. I forgot when I exactly went to the bathroom. All I know is when I came back, I missed the freaking Breezango segment, which I know that's like your fashion police. You love that, and they're hilarious. But I just saw, I guess they got knocked out from off camera again. So
yeah, just it's not my least favorite one. Because I did like Tyler Breeze dressed up as a woman, as the female detective.
Yes, I didn't see what happened. What happened? I missed it. If you want to go through the thing.
Oh, sure. They were Tyler Breeze was dressed up as a woman detective. Kind of, I don't know, maybe because I watched it too often, but it reminded me of Detective Olivia Benson from Law and Order SVU. That was just the first thing I thought of, even though he looks nothing like her. And then excuse me, I almost called him Zendango. I don't know where that came from. Yes, was the male counterpart, and they were just discussing about what was going on last few weeks of trying to figure out who trashed their room. And I'm sorry I'm spoiling all this for Joe who's watching the pay-per-view right now, but but and then the Ascension comes in and was like, we're the ones who trash your crime scene or whatever. They're like crime scene over, and then I was like, oh well, I guess this case is closed. And then the lights go out, and then you see they get attacked, and I think Breeze went down first, and you see like Fandango with like the shockwaves, like what's going on, and he has like a flashlight, and then he gets attacked from behind, and you don't really see anything except for the flashlight going like when
so was it the Ascension that attacked him again, or somebody else? They're saying
we don't know.
Wait, was the Ascension in the room with them when that happened?
No, I think they walked off, and then
okay.
The lights went out.
Maybe it's Undertaker and Kane.
I hope not. No, he can't be. Kane's on that campaign run. He can't be associated with WWE right now.
Oh, well, too bad. So I guess that was pretty much it for that. Then we get to the main event, which is the Punjabi prison match, which saw WWE champion Jinder Mahal, the modern-day Maharaja, against Randy Orton again. And basically what the match was has two cages, one inner cage and one outer cage. The cages are made with bamboo. There's 4 doors on the inner cage. When a superstar calls for the cage to be opened, one door in the cage to be opened, it's open for 60 seconds. But once the 6 seconds is up, that door is closed permanently and locked. So right away, Mahal called for like the first 3 doors to be open in almost succession. There's a few moves in between. Each time they stopped each other from getting out, so all 3 of those doors were permanently closed, leaving 1 door left. This is when the action actually got started. Hot and heavy action. We had the hanging DDT by Orton. Then he called for the door to be opened, the fourth and final door to be opened. He got on the floor, started taunting him to like I guess coil up for the RKO. At this point, I think he hits the RKO, or it's reversed into a Kalash, but the Kalash is reversed into an RKO again. Mm-hmm. So now Jinder Mahal is knocked out. So, prior to this match, Jinder Mahal says, I'm going to do this on my own. The only people I need behind me is the 1.2 billion people in India. So he tells the Singh brothers to stay in the back. They can't help him. So as this has happened, as Randy Orton's getting out the door with, 20 seconds left, the Singh brothers actually come from underneath the ring and start beating down on Randy Orton. They pull an unconscious Mahal out of the door. Then Orton tries to get out with 10 seconds left, but they start beating him down and push him back in, and the door is closed permanently. So now Orton's pretty much locked inside the inner cage, while Mahal and the 2 Singh brothers are on the outer cage. And now they revive Mahal, who start climbing the outer cage. He starts climbing. Orton has no way of getting out, so he climbs the inner cage, jumps from the inner cage to the outer cage. So now he's actually higher than Mahal. Singh brothers see this, and they scurry up and help pull him down, and Jinder Mahal's pulled down. They're all fighting on the outside part. Some great action. There's some steel chair. Well, not yet, but there's some kendo stick shots. But then Orton snaps, knocks out Mahal, knocks out one of the Singh brothers, and suplexes the other Singh brother several times. So then he goes to the opposite side of the cage from where all the opponents are laying down and starts climbing the outer cage on that side. Samir, I think it was, actually comes through and crawls through the outer cage because there's a big enough hole for him to get through. So he's on the outside of the outer cage, and Orton's on the inside of the outer cage. They're both climbing, basically neck and neck. And then Samir starts holding on to him so that Orton can't do anything. Orton starts beating him down. Finally hits him hard enough that Samir falls off the outside of the outer cage and through the announcer table, which was the best spot of the night, in my opinion. That was great to see. I guess Jinder Mahal came to there, pulled Orton down. There's some more fighting going back and forth with Mahal and Sunil Singh double teaming Orton. Orton grabs a chair, knocks both of them out again. Now he has a clear path to getting out. And so he starts climbing. And then this is where I'm texting my friend Raj saying, it'd be great if Great Khali came back and helped Jinder Mahal win. And would you know it, within 2 seconds of me saying that, music hits. Unfortunately, it's Jinder Mahal's music, which I don't mind. I'm just saying. So it was to just make it a surprise. Orton's looking through the cage as he climbs. He's like, why is Mahal's music going off? And when that happened, I'm like, oh my god, am I right? And then freaking Great Khali comes out, and Orton is shocked. I mean, Great Khali is the same size, just a little bit heavier now because he has a beer gut, I guess it is. And he starts shaking the cage, the outside cage, and that allows Randy Orton to fall down a few levels. Then he grabs Orton, starts choking him out, and as this happens, Mahal's climbing up, gets to the outside, basically in level with Randy Orton on the outside of the outer cage and just taunts him and then drops down and wins the match. Orton falls to the inside, is choked out. Then Mahal celebrates with Khali. He actually like Khali held the belt and raised it up like Khali was champion, which is kind of weird. But they both celebrated, as did the 1.2 billion people in India and the 2 people in my room. Actually, my dog too was watching it too, so that's 3 people in my room to see Jinder Mahal retain the modern day Maharaja, still your WWE SmackDown champion, or whatever they call it, the WWE champion, whatever they call it now. I don't know. I loved it. What do you think?
I am going to say, for the first time in WWE history, I enjoyed a Punjabi prison match. This was the first time I've ever been invested in one of these matches, and it was really great. Like the back and forth between them two, and I'm really glad that Jinder was able to like showcase some more wrestling moves instead of just being a heel and using the Singh brothers. I really appreciated that, and especially Jinder just using the cage to its full advantage. You know, knocking Orton back into the ring various different times in various different ways, and I did love that spot with Samir and Orton on the top of the cage. Actually, almost like your prediction, your Khali prediction, like maybe 10-15 seconds before Samir climbed up, I was like, aren't they kind of small enough to fit through that thing? And lo and behold, he jumps through it to climb up the other side. So we were both using our premonition abilities in this match.
Yeah, so I'm happy to see Jinder Mahal retain. I think I really like this match. Like you said, it's the best Punjabi prison match I've ever seen because, you know, the first few were a bust. But I loved it. It was good. I'm glad it actually went well. So I guess we're going to start wrapping up. That's what we always do. What was your low point of the night, your high point, and then your overall grade?
I would say lowest point. I'm just gonna say the first half of that Divas match. Women's match.
Yep. How dare you call them Divas?
I know. How dare I get rid of 15 years of Diva exposure? But yeah, there wasn't really like a terrible match on the card. It's just that first half, I wasn't really with it. Lana was really the reason because she took me out of it. And highest point, I might have. It's a toss-up between the Uso New Day match because I really thought that was great. I was invested, and Jinder Mahal and Orton because I was invested in that match as well. So those might be the neck and neck high points. And overall, I would give this one probably an A-.
So I agree pretty much spot on with you with everything. I thought the low point was the women's match. Nothing to do with the women involved. I just think I don't like how they've been booking them lately. The way that it turns out, they can do so much more than that they're given. You know, they have so much more talent. It's like having $1 million and just spending like $5 on it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's how I feel. The high point was a Punjabi prison match for me because I finally saw a good Punjabi prison match, and Jinder Mahal retained. And we're saying, remember, I always say we need more stables. If Great Khali stays around, we got an Indian stable, man. Wait till you see me on there too. I'm gonna be their mouthpiece.
Just don't put him on the mic.
Yeah. No, that's my job. That's my job. Eventually, they're gonna find us on YouTube, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, hey, let's get that Indian guy because there's not enough of them in the world that we got to find that one." And he's gonna be the mic, the guy in the mic. You know, I do all the promos for our OSP family and all that. So I think I'm clever enough to get on the mic for about like 5 minutes at a time, especially because I write that stuff for you anyway. But I could probably ad-lib a few things. But yeah, so the best match of the night for me, the high point was the Punjabi prison match. And overall, after seeing the disappointing Great Balls of Fire, which I gave, I think, a D to. I'd like to give this one a B+ or an A-. I think it was a solid pay-per-view all throughout. I didn't really have any bad spots. Even like the lesser-known matches were still entertaining. And like you said, we were invested in these matches. So I always say a B+, A- overall for the pay-per-view. So, Delisha, before we wrap up, where can we find you? What have you been doing? Stuff like that.
Yep, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Delisha_Renee. That is DELISHA_RENEE. You can find me on OSP. That's Odd Shape Panel or Odd Shape Channel on YouTube. Every other Monday, discussing all the news in pop culture. You can find me calling in to a lot of the Odd Shape Channel, Tough Channel shows throughout the week. Kyle will tell you about some of those in a few. And you can find me writing articles on Odd Shape Channel website, oddshapechannel.com. We have a new segment that I'm right now calling Movie Corner, where I recap some popular movies that I've missed over the years and seeing if it was worth my time.
Yeah, and for me, you can find me at Viren Jadeja on Twitter or at Night's Watch Tube, and that's one of the shows Delisha was mentioning. You find on Odd Shape Channel. It's the Night's Watch, which is the Game of Thrones recap show, which airs every Tuesday night on Odd Shape Channel on YouTube. You can check out my Twitters for those links. It's at 9 p.m. So if you're a Game of Thrones fan, come check that out. I host it alongside with my co-hosts Tom and Kimber, who are the main people of Odd Shape Channel. Monday nights, you can see me on Odd Shape Panel, the Odd Shape Channel show about pop culture. I think the next one coming up is about Doctor Who, coming up on Monday. Tomorrow night, Wednesday night, another show on Odd Shape Channel is Twin Peaks, which is a Twin Peaks recap show, which I usually call in for, but I can't this week, so I'm going away. But I will be there tomorrow night for Night's Watch, so please check that out. Is there anything else I want to say? Yes. The next time you will see us is on August 21st, recapping SummerSlam. But we also have a special thing for you because Delisha and I and our fact checker Joe and my friend Raj are going out for his birthday to NXT pay-per-view, NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 3. So we'll be actually there live. We'll try to get some pictures for you guys and then, have some stories to tell when we come back on August 21st for that episode of AfterMat discussing SummerSlam, but we'll try to have some NXT stuff for you too.
That's going to be a long episode, guys, so just strap in. Be ready.
Yes, we'll try to get done earlier. Hopefully we don't have conflict with OSP that night. But one last thing before we go, we want to make sure we promote Janine again. So this is, once again, if you want to get this shirt, it's available on TeePublic, I think it is. Just search for G9 Designs or look up Janine on Twitter at Janine Dabine at JENNINEDABAN. So we want to thank her again for making the design as me in the middle as the People's Champ, and then you got Delisha also as the Glamazon, and Eric, who unfortunately wasn't able to join us as the Hitman. Great shirt. You can also put it on mugs and all those other products too, I think. So if you're not a fan of getting a shirt of it, drink us in. So for Delisha, the Glamazon, I'm the People's Champ Cal, and we'll see you August 21st on the AfterMat to discuss NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, but mostly SummerSlam. Thank you very much. Buy the shirt, guys. Support AfterMat and support Janine.
That's right. Have a good night, guys.